Hey everyone, this is just a short video explaining how the trumpet works and the anatomy of the trumpet. So the trumpet is the easiest instrument to assemble. We have two parts. We've got the actual horn itself, and then we've got our mouthpiece. So all you need to do to set it up, put the mouthpiece in, give it a quarter turn, and then it won't fall out. And that's it. No reeds, no bows, pretty simple. How the sound is made is quite honestly pretty bizarre. If you're playing something like a keyboard, hammers are hitting strings, you're playing a guitar, you're making the string vibrate. Every instrument needs vibration in order to make sound, and brass instruments like the trumpet have a pretty bizarre way of doing that. So we have something called an embouchure. Unlike a saxophone, you're making a reed vibrate. You're making a string vibrate on a guitar. You're hitting a skin and making the drum vibrate. That all happens outside of your body, but with brass instruments it happens right here. So you actually do this. Now I know that sounds completely ridiculous and it's going to sound a little strange. I can do a couple things just with my embouchure. I can make it go higher and I can make it go lower. Check it out. Now that doesn't quite sound like music yet. If we take just our mouthpiece, it's also not going to quite sound like music yet. I mean, that sounds like some kind of a duck or something terrible. But when we put our mouthpiece into the trumpet, we get a very different result. Sounds pretty okay. So basically what's happening is I'm taking the vibration that's happening here, I'm sending it through the instrument and it comes out through the bell. That's how you make your basic sound of a horn. But that's so not everything that's going on. We've got these little buttons here, and these are called valves. And what they do is they actually open up new passageways in the trumpet. It's pretty nifty. So I'm going to give you an example right here. Everybody can see inside there. If I'm blowing through the trumpet, nothing happens. But when I push down my second valve, that opens up. Now, because there's no pipe there, the air is just going to go right out that, which is sort of more of the duck thing. But what's going to happen when I connect everything, the air is now starting here, going through the trumpet, and now it's going through this tube as well. So instead of just going straight through, it's actually taking a little detour and going through this valve. That obviously changes the sound. All of the valves will change the sound in a different way. Right? But there's also one more thing, and this is one of the hardest parts of the trumpet. This is what really makes it different than something like a saxophone, is that we have to move our mouths as well. And I can make a lot of music with just changing the shape of my face. On Remembrance Day, you guys probably know this one. And so on and so forth. That's called the last post. That's a trumpet that doesn't have any of these valves. And what the valves are doing again is they're changing the way the air is moving, which changes the sound. That's basically how a trumpet works. There's a bunch of different kinds of trumpets. So this is a cool one. This is from 1971, which is super old. That means that this trumpet is 51 years old. This trumpet is new. It looks just about the same. If you can compare, the bells are quite a different size. This one's a much larger bell, this one's smaller. This one's also decorated, it's got some gold on it, which is really nice. But I've got a different kind of trumpet here today that I wanted to show you, just for fun. This is called the flugelhorn. Now it looks a lot different than a trumpet. And it sounds a lot different than a trumpet. This instrument is over 100 years old. Now you can get new ones, but mine's very special. Mine's quite old. And it sounds vastly different than a trumpet. If you notice, the bell is huge. And that's going to spread the sound out. Instead of that really concentrated tone, you get a more vocal tone. Listen to the difference. Very bright. Very soft, mellow vocal. Another one of my favorite things about playing trumpet is that you can play a ton of different styles. I love classical music, I love jazz music, funk music, pop music, and trumpet can play any of those styles of music. If you guys have heard Justin Bieber's Sorry, you guys know what I'm talking about. Trumpet is all over in a whole bunch of different musical styles. Something that I do is I don't actually specialize in one specific style. I do a whole bunch of different things. So sometimes I'll play a classical concert, sometimes I'll play a jazz concert, sometimes a funk concert. I'm even in an indie rock band, which is really, really fun too. And you can hear all the different styles of music I can play. I'll demo a couple, like I did before. This is the classical sound. And so on and so forth. Or you can play something really jazz. Something like that. Or you can play, you know, something a little more funky. Stuff like that. Or you can play, well, just about any style you want. So there you go. That's the video on trumpet. Hope you guys enjoyed it. It's a really fun instrument to play.